Hello, my name's Pat Kane. Welcome to the Constitute. That's constitute as a noun rather than constitute as a verb. And the noun is about an entity that can contain many different elements and see connections between things that haven't been made connected up before. And that's a bit of what I'm going to do with this blog post. This is a kind of mood response to a whole load of stuff that I'm going to be putting into the Substack listed below this video. So I won't be speaking for too long, but it's just to kind of be remarking upon some of the most remarkable things that are coming through this last month. Now, there's a few extraordinary things that I've come across in those last 4 weeks that I want to sort of share. I think the most extraordinary would be the interview with Demis Hassabis, the CEO of Google DeepMind, on the Lex Friedman podcast. Remarkable for me in a number of ways. One is the extent to which, as I'm delighted to hear as the author of the play, I think all these years ago, that gamers are themselves beginning to exert their power in the way that they frame and understand reality. I mean, Hassabis is before he was an AI guru mogul, he was a games designer and clearly has a kind of a ludic approach to reality. And he's now trying to apply that to, I think, almost like a new evolutionary science. It sounds to me in this interview. Essentially, what he's doing is he's believing that the data crunching capacity of LLMs and of the kind of AI algorithms that DeepMind are pursuing, which is to do with fundamental scientific discovery rather than chirpy or therapeutic chatbots. He believes that he can, if his machines can crunch enough data, that they can get at what he calls an underlying evolutionary manifold of necessary vital structures that evolution has bequeathed to us through many different levels, not just biological evolution, but material evolution as well, and all manner of phenomena. And he thinks he's getting to a different level of underlying reality and believes that his computers and his AI will be able to disclose those realities. Now, the way that he talks about it is in reverse is so fascinating. He looks at the way that his VO text to image generating app and software platform, the way that it models fluid dynamics, the convincing plausible passage of fluid through a channel or through a physical circumstance, simply by watching YouTube videos of it happening in real life. So he's saying this is an extraordinary result, and it's an outcome of the amount of information and the amount of data that these programs can now crunch, and that they may be getting to what he calls a different manifold of reality. Quite extraordinary. And I'll just mention, in addition, the interview on the Jim Rutt show, the famous rambunctious Texas venture capitalist and tech visionary, with a guy called Lee Cronin, who is the Regis Professor of Chemistry at the University of Glasgow and the CEO and Chief Scientific Officer of something called Chemify. Go and check it out. He's basically making as fundamental a claim about reality as Hassabis. He seems to have devised a programming language for chemistry which can make molecules to order for clients. And he set up his first, what he calls Chemifarm in Glasgow just a few weeks ago, which will be able to, as he says, explore the molecular space or the chemical space. I'm assuming that better chemistry is an aim for many products. I'm imagining for customized health and also for designing of batteries and that will have greater efficiency outcomes than they currently do. But it's just a general sense in which we are in a paradigm shifting moment, and that the power of computation to discern patterns and to break down things into different abstract elements and recombine them in powerful ways is a revolution that is not just confined to our social media or our internet use. It's moving into all areas of society. The kind of the James Watt steam engine, the spinning jenny, is now the computational device, and it's extraordinary and challenging to be at the heart of all this. But I've never just been interested in transforming technology. I've always, in terms of my intellectual background, I've always been interested in the shifts in society and community and institutions that such technologies create. And the other set of links I'll be showing you below this video are kind of connected to the prospect of a new left party in the UK, as heralded by Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana, who are two independent ex-Labour MPs who seem to be marching apace with a political platform and a political party that's to the left of the current Labour Party, and which is ambitious. And one of the things I would want it to be ambitious for, as I am ambitious with my participation in the Spring project, spring.site project with Indra Adnan, my partner. But one of the things I'd love it to be ambitious about is the political economy of all these transformative technologies. The extent to which, if they do generate new economic options and new efficiencies, replace automated and routinized labours of all kinds in all different realms, that we can arrange a society to take advantage of that for the benefit of the majority of humans. And there's something utopian about that, but there's also something very practical about it. I think there's an awful lot, it would seem to me, that there's an awful lot of systemic trauma, mental health problems, exhaustion, nihilism floating around certainly in the developed societies. Those are the ones I mostly know. And we have a huge repair job to do on ourselves, and we need the time and space and resources to actually do it. So I would love these new parties not just to be talking about rectifying deficits in terms of improving welfare or in terms of stopping wars, obviously, in the Middle East, reducing the military-industrial complex. These are all elements of the left prospectus that I would entirely support. But I would love there to be some kind of vision for what we can do with our human ingenuity and with these transformative technologies for the benefit of the many, not the few, as the old phrase has it. But that would mean being visionary about forms of life and forms of living and different value systems, maybe value systems recovered from the past, but also value systems developed into the future. These technologies, these massively materially recombining and reframing material sciences can do, the power of them could be put at the service of the people and communities. And I would hope to see that level of what Eric Olin Wright used to call real utopias or real living utopias. I would like to see that be part of this revival of the left, at least. I think Jean-Luc Mélenchon, the French equivalent for this movement, is very, very eloquent on this, and I'll put a link that I found to his work as well in the stuff below this video. To something to the extent of let there be life before death, and or the Roberto Unger phrase, the point of living is to die only once, and as meaning that we should not be alienated as much as we are in our living lives when we have the opportunity to be self-expressive, self-determining, well-resourced to live rich, complex, poetic human lives, all of us, not just the poets. So I'd like to hear that from a new left party. The relationship between that and Scottish independence, that's another discussion entirely, which I'll leave to another topic in another week. But in any case, thanks very much for watching and listening. The material will be all down below this video. Please let me know if you have any other additions to make to it. Please use the comment function for that. And as I say at the end of these things, from my 70s background, ad astra. Thanks very much.